If you're a car buyer in this day and age, chances are nothing will tickle your fancy more than a crossover. Crossovers seem to be all the rave these days, and as a result, manufacturers are churning them out more than ever. And to make them even more affordable, they seem to be getting smaller and smaller. But the smaller have to mean settling for less. Does it mean you have to live without the niceties you've come to expect from a modern car? Or does it mean you'll have to settle for something that just isn't that exciting? Well, let's take a look at the Kia Stonic to find out. The Stonic is based on the same platform as the Rio, which is Kia's subcompact car. And Kia could have simply gotten the Rio, raised its suspension, put black body cladding and roof rails to call it a new crossover, but they did a bit more than that. Because the Stonic and the Rio may look similar, but in many ways they're not identical. So you can't accuse the Stonic of being the Rio's twin brother with an identity crisis. At the front, you get projector-type halogen headlights, which I think look pretty good. You also get Kia's signature tiger nose grille. But wait, this isn't a grille, it's solid. So if you're wondering how this thing breathes, well, there's an airway right over here, aside from the huge air dam at the bottom. Beneath that, you get the silver garnish that is meant to mimic a skid plate. And for the EX models, you also get DRLs. Along the side, you get a conservative dose of black body cladding and roof rails to further remind you that this is a crossover. All variants of the Kia Stonic roll on 16-inch alloy wheels. However, only the EX variant gets 4-wheel disc brakes and turn indicators on the side mirrors. You'll also find this quarter glass on the rear door, which allows the windows to roll all the way down. At the back, you get a nicely integrated spoiler, shark's fin antenna, and the standard taillights. When you open the tailgate, you get 325 liters of trunk space, even more with the rear seats folded down. However, the floor isn't flat, and there is a bit of a load lift, so getting objects in and out may require a bit of a workout. So this may be a smaller crossover, but does that mean you have to settle for less? Well, considering the price point this competes in, it's not exactly devoid of niceties. For starters, you get automatic climate control with physical knobs, so operating it is child's play. You also get push-button start and an 8-inch touchscreen for your infotainment. This comes with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, plus a reverse camera with dynamic guidelines. The resolution may not be that crisp, but it gets the job done. Overall, the system is quite responsive, but the absence of physical buttons makes it less intuitive. The instrument cluster consists of analog gauges and a 3.5-inch TFT LCD for your multi-info display. As far as storage is concerned, there is space for your drinks, gadgets, and miscellaneous items, but they aren't padded, so hard and light items like coins and keys may make some noise while you're moving. So at this point, there seems to be no compromise in terms of features or functionality. But Kia did have to cut the cost somewhere. So you do get hard plastics here and there, but that is absolutely forgivable at this price range. But I do wish this thing had a leather-wrapped steering wheel and a center armrest, because that impacts the driving experience, especially in terms of comfort. But these seats do provide a tremendous amount of comfort, and the bolstering here is pretty good. And there's just enough adjustability for me to find my ideal driving position. Because there is height adjustment for the seats, and the steering column may tilt, but it isn't telescopic. In any case, the Stonic's cockpit is a decent place to sit. And in terms of features, functionality, ergonomics, and even aesthetics, I really can't complain. Here at the back, the cost cutting is a bit more evident in the absence of a lot of amenities. You don't get a center armrest, you don't get rear air vents, no charge ports, and you don't even get seat pockets. However, you do get a decent amount of leg and headroom. I still have a few inches to spare both ways. Now, I would like to see how comfortable it is to sit 3 people back here, but I think it's best to practice social distancing. But I will say that it is quite comfortable back here, even with these fixed headrests. See? Now, these seats are pretty low, so it may compromise thigh support if you sit this way. But there is enough space under the front seat, so you can kind of stretch out to have your thighs firmly planted. Under the hood, you get the same power plant as what you'd find in the Kia Rio, which is a 1.4-liter double overhead cam inline four-cylinder engine that pumps out 99 horsepower and 132 newton meters of torque. Now it's time to see how this thing drives. So the name Stonic comes from the words speedy and tonic. Speedy. Does that mean this thing is fast? And tonic. Does it also mean this will make me feel good? Well, let's find out. So with 99 horsepower and 132 newton meters of torque, you'd have to be borderline delusional if you expect this to knock your socks off in terms of acceleration. I mean, this isn't a sports car. But the least I expect, regardless of what type of car I'm driving, is for the engine to respond to my throttle inputs. Because I really hate it when there's a flat spot. You know, when you put your foot down and nothing happens, or it takes a few seconds for it to react, because that makes overtaking very unpredictable. But in the case of the Stonic, it's actually fairly responsive. Now it takes a split second for the transmission to downshift when you put your foot down, but nonetheless, it still responds quite adequately. And it's tuned pretty well to adapt to your driving style. Because when you're traveling at low speed, it shifts pretty early. And then when you put your foot down, it will go all the way to the red line. And I know DCTs are all the rave these days, but for me, a well-tuned automatic transmission is still a treat. Now I'm in the EX variant, which means I've got four-wheel disc brakes. And what that translates to is, when you brake hard, this thing doesn't lean or pitch forward. It's always level, regardless of how hard you brake. And that equates to a smoother ride. The suspension on the Stonic is more on the stiff side, but the ride is still pretty comfortable. And together with this quick steering ratio, it's actually fun to drive, especially around the bends. Overall, the Stonic provides a very pleasant driving experience because of its size and the mere fact that the visibility is excellent, which makes it extremely easy to drive. The Kia Stonic EX, the top-of-the-line version, can be yours for 925,000 pesos. And with that, you get a decent amount of tech, a trendy-looking crossover, and decent driving dynamics. So it may not be the fastest thing out there, but just like Tonic, it can make you feel good. Crossovers may be getting smaller and becoming more affordable. And in the case of the Kia Stonic, it goes to show that smaller doesn't have to equate to less. It may lack a few toys for the rear seat passengers, but it makes up for it where it counts the most, and that's behind the wheel.
Hi everyone, my name is Julius, sales consultant of Kia Mandaluyong. Come visit us here at Unit 5833 Sheridan Street, Greenfield District, Mandaluyong City. For more inquiries, you can call me at 0905-194-7138. Thank you and hope to see you soon.